In this video, we'd be talking about profit, loss, and their respective percentages. So concept of profit and loss is applied whenever we have the tradings involved. So when I say trading, trading means some commodity or some object has been bought in some price and then it has been sold in some price. So the price in which we are buying something is called as a cost price. Cost price or the buying price is the same thing. It's the price in which we have bought something. And then we have the concept of selling price. The selling price is the price in which we have sold any object. And the difference of the two values, or the difference of the two prices, tells us the profit or the loss. So to have a profit, the difference between the two values should be positive, and to have a loss, the difference between the two values should be negative. So profit, if we have to incur a profit, profit formula would simply be the selling price minus the cost price. And when you talk about loss, loss is equal to, since in case of loss, the cost price has to be higher because now you're not selling anything which is more than your buying price. So cost price in this case would be higher. So cost price minus the selling price would give us a loss incurred. To understand this concept in a better way, let's consider this example that you are doing some shirts business and there's this particular t-shirt what you have bought for 100 rupees or 1000 rupees. So the buying price of shirt is 1000 rupees, and you have sold that shirt for selling price for that shirt is, let's say, 1400 rupees. And we have to calculate the profit here. Why profit? Because the selling price is more than the cost price, so it has to be the profit only. So profit in this case would be equal to the selling price minus the cost price. Selling price is 1400 minus the cost price, which is 1000. So we're getting the profit as 400 rupees. So this was the scenario when you have made a profit, and now let's consider if the buying price is still the same or the cost price is now still the same, which is 1000, but the selling price is now, let's say, 400. So here you can see the selling price is less than the cost price. So whenever we have a selling price less than the cost price, it's the case of loss. So loss would be cost price minus the selling price now. The loss would be equals to 400 minus the 1000. Sorry, loss would be equals to 1000 minus the 400. It has to be the other way around. So 1000 minus 400, and that gives us 600 rupees, the loss. So this is how we calculate the profit and loss. We'll do one more word problem related to it. Okay. In case of this question, if you may read the question, it says we have a shopkeeper that buys 72 bars of chocolate in $5.67, $5.76. What is his profit? We have to find the profit if he sells them all for 20 cents each. The very first thing to be noted, the two different prices have different units, dollars and cents. So let's first convert this dollars into cents. So 5.76 when converted to cents, you'd be multiplying it by 100. We are getting this as 5.76 into 100. That would give us 5.76 cents. Okay. So he has bought 72 bars of chocolate for 5.76 cents. So 72 bars in 5.76 cents. We have to and then he's selling them for 12 cents each. So selling them 12 cents each means we need to calculate the cost price of each bar first. So cost price of each bar we need to calculate first. That would be 5.76 upon 72. So 5.76 upon 72, and that gives us 8 cents. All right. And the selling price is given as, for each bar, the selling price is 12 cents. And the question says we have to calculate the profit. So profit would simply be equals to the difference of selling price minus the cost price. So selling price we have here is 12 cents. Cost price we have is 8 cents. So profit is equals to 12 minus 8. That's a 4. We are getting a profit of 4 cents. Moving on for another example. Here, in case of this example, it says a woman buys a car for $7,500. So buys a car means we have this cost price with us, which is $7,500, and sells it 2 years later for $4,500. The selling price for the car is $4,500. Calculate her loss over the 2 years as a percentage of the cost profit. So in a way, we have to find the loss percentage here. And to calculate the loss percentage, since it's about percentages, here again, we can apply the concept of ratios, the ratio method. And for ratio method, if you don't know the ratio method, you can refer to my video, which is about ratio method. And whenever we have ratio method, we will be dealing with two quantities. Here, the two quantities are the price and the percentage. Okay. And for price and percentage, always remember the first set of values. The first set of values is always the original. And by original here, it means the cost price. So here, the first set of values should be the cost price, and cost price is always written in front of 100. So this first row, it's a must thing. You have to keep this as it is. The cost price should always be against the 100. Now, for selling price, there can be two approaches. either you are finding the percentage of the selling price or you are finding the selling price itself. So whatever it is, selling price, always remember it's a value which is more than 100, because you only get a profit when you are getting you are when your selling price is more than the cost price. So always remember, if it's a profit, so you'd add this profit, you'd add this profit percentage into 100, and that would be in front of the selling price. So if it's a case of profit, if it is, so it would be 100 plus the profit percentage. But then again, you can also expect the losses. So if you have a loss, let me copy it first. So the first scenario was about profit, but if we are having a loss here, it would then be 100 minus the loss percentage. Hundred minus the loss percentage. Okay, so sometimes percentage would be given to us, and sometimes percentage would be required to be found. Okay. So in case of this particular question, let's try to use this concept here, the ratio methods for the profit and the loss percentages. So ratio method, if it's to be used, we have the set of values as price against the percentages. First row of values is always the original, and original is the cost price. And cost price is always against the 100. And then we have the selling price, which is always against the loss percentage. So in case of this question, we have the cost price as 7,500, which is to be written against 100. Selling price is 4,500, which is to be against X. So solving it further, we'll have the equation to be made as X is equals to 4,500 into 100 divided by 7,500. So it's 4,500 into 100 is equal to this divided by 7,500. We're getting this as 60. Now remember, 60% is the accumulated percentage where we have the effect of 100 also involved. So to have the actual loss percentage, because this 4,500, it basically represents the percentage. This 60% basically represents 4,500. And since we have to calculate the loss percentage, so loss percentage is always calculated as 100 minus whatever the percentage is there. So the loss percentage in this case, it would be 100 minus 60, which is 40%. So always remember, for the percentages, either it's loss or profit percentage to be found. If you are using a selling price, so always remember, in front of selling price, it's the cumulative profit and or the cumulative loss percentage. And if you have to find the actual net profit or the loss percentage, you add or subtract to 100. Okay, so 40% was the loss she incurred. For this next example, question says a boat is sold for 15,360. So we have the selling price here. 15,360. This represents profit of 28%. So we have the profit percentage. So here we have been given with the profit percentage is 28. What did the boat originally cost? Originally cost means the cost price is now something needs to be found. So using that ratio method, we have the price against the percentage. First set of values is always the original. Cost price is the original thing which we need to find. It's always against 100. Now, profit percentage and the selling price. So always remember selling price is the increased value. When you have having a profit, so selling price is always the increased value. And profit percent of 28 means this is something what you have gained on the cost price. So that means it's a case of increased percentage here. For profit, 28% means it's a case of increased percentage for us. Increased percentage for us. And whenever we have increased percentage, we always add to the 100. So adding to the 100, we get 100 plus 28. We are getting this as 128%. So in terms of percentage, this selling price 15360 is representing the 128 percentage of the cost price, which is what we need to find. So make sure you are using the correct representative percentages against the correct prices. So selling price being the increased value 15360 should be written against the increased percentage, which is 128. When we do the cross multiplication here to solve this equation, so it would be 128 x is equal to 100 into 15360. So x would be equals to 100 into 15360 upon 128. We're getting this x as 100 into 15360 divided by 128. We're getting this as 12,000. So that means the originally cost or the cost price of this boat is equals to 12,000 pounds. In a way, we have done the reverse engineering here also. With the increased value given to us, we have found the original value or the increased value. We use this reverse percentage method to find the original price or the cost price. One more question. Okay, a car was sold for 1430. So we have the selling price given here. This is $1430. Making a loss of 35%. So we have the loss percentage given to us. 35%. On the cost price, what was the cost price? So cost price is something what we need to find here. Let this be X. All right. So relating this question again to the concept of increase and decrease percentage, loss percentage is something which refers to the decrease percentage. So in a way, loss percentage of 35 means we have the decrease percentage here. And with this decrease percentage, this 1430, it's the decreased value. So decreased value, we always write as in front of the percentage, because this is something which we are getting after this percentage has been applied. So 35%, since the case of decreased percentage, it will always be 100 minus the loss percentage. So 100 minus the loss, it means it would be 100 minus 35, which is 65. All right. So profit percentage you add to 100, loss percentage you subtract from 100. And selling price, you always write the selling price in front of the profit or the loss percentage being added or subtracted by 100. So using the ratio method, we have the prices against the percentages. The first row of values is always the original, so original price we need to find against 100, and this 1430, it is the selling price for us, and this selling price is the 65% of the actual cost price. So selling price 1430, it should be written in front of 65. Make sure you're not writing this in front of 35, because the loss percentage, if you have to use the loss percent has to be written in front of the loss. We don't have the loss here, we have the selling price here. So selling price should be written as a decreased value against the 100 minus the decreased percentage. So cross multiplying it here, it would be 65 into x is equals to 100 into 1430. So x would be equals to 100 into 1430 upon 65. And we are getting this as 100 into 1430 divided by 65. 2200. So that means the cost price is equals to $2,200. So this was again the question you can relate to the reverse percentages, where the where the decreased value was given to us, and we were supposed to find the original price or the original value. So hope you have understood this video, and thanks for watching.